Have you ever watched 5 words do more damage than 500? Tonight you will. Nobody in the room expected it. Not the producers who had booked the segment as a standard award season interview. Not the host who had pre-cleared the talking points. Not the 200 people in the audience who had arrived expecting to watch a woman receive a standing ovation for her body of work and leave 30 minutes later having experienced something that would organize how they thought about the current moment for a long time. What they got. What the clip captures in the 4 seconds before the audience registers what has happened and the 8 seconds after when it cannot stop is a particular impact that 5 words produce when they arrive from the right person in the right register at the right frequency. Not loudly, not with the performed outrage of someone who has decided that volume is the argument, in the specific, controlled frequency of a woman who has been speaking the same truth for 9 years at different volumes and has found, after 9 years of evidence, that the lowest volume produces the highest impact. But the 5 words are not the beginning of this story. They are the end of a runway that begins in a backstage corridor at the Golden Globes in January 2017, with a question about Trump and an answer that contained, in compressed form, the entire argument that the 5 words in 2026 would complete. To understand why the completion lands the way it lands, you have to hear the beginning. January 8th, 2017, the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Viola Davis has just won the Golden Globe for Fences, her 5th nomination, her first win in that room, the night's most anticipated result, and the one the audience has been waiting through the early categories to arrive at. She accepts with the grace of someone who has been in that building 5 times without winning, and who has decided that the experience of the 5 times, rather than just a winning, is a thing worth acknowledging. She thanks Denzel. She thanks August Wilson. She thanks the people who believe that a complex, sensual, intriguing character could be inhabited by a 51-year-old dark-skinned woman. She goes backstage. A reporter asks about Trump. In 12 days, he will be inaugurated. The question is a standard question of that season. What does the incoming president mean for the American dream? For Hollywood, for the country? And the standard answer is a standard answer. I'm worried, but we have to fight, and we have to use our voices. Some version of that sentence. The sentence every celebrity gives in that 12-day window. The sentence that is true and sufficient and does not cost anything to say. Davis does not say it. I will, believe it or not, remove Trump from the equation, she says, because I feel that it's bigger than him. The reporters go quiet. This is the opposite of the expected answer. Not opposition, not resistance, not to fight and use our voices, landing that the question was designed to receive. She is not refusing to engage with Trump. She is refusing to let Trump be the frame. The frame, she says, is us. The question is not what Trump will do, but what his presence says about the people who put him there, about the belief system his election reflects, about the distance between what America claims to be and what America has been willing to become. There is no way that we can have anyone in office that is not an extension of our own belief system. So what does that say about us? She does not answer the question. She leaves it there. In the backstage corridor of the Beverly Hilton in January 2017, that unanswered question is a frequency she sets. Everything that follows, every public statement, every Instagram post, every award show comment, every interview across 9 years, is a transmission on that same frequency, not louder, not angrier. The same question at the same frequency, updated with the evidence that each year deposits into the ledger until the ledger contains enough that the question can be asked in 5 words rather than 50. 9 years of evidence. February 2026. Trump posts a video. The video, taken down within hours by a White House official who describes it as an accidental posting by a staff member, shows the faces of Barack and Michelle Obama superimposed on the bodies of apes, dancing to The Lion Sleeps Tonight. The President of the United States. The faces of the 44th President and the former First Lady. Ape Bodies. A 1961 song about a sleeping lion. Davis watches it. She does not immediately post. She waits. Not strategically. Not with the calculated pause of someone managing a communications response, but with the specific stillness of someone who has received something that requires a moment to fully process before it can be addressed. She has been in the room of this question since 2017. She has asked what it says about us. She has been watching the answer accumulate for 9 years. And now the answer is a video of two black people's faces on 8 bodies, posted from the official White House social media account. And the question she asked in 2017 has received its fullest, most unambiguous response. She posts, not a statement, not a thread, not a carefully constructed paragraph about racism and institutional failure and the moral decline of a nation, though she includes all of those things in the caption, in language that is precise and unsparing and organized with the clarity of someone who's been thinking about this for 9 years. She posts a video of Michelle Obama dancing. The Jennifer Hudson show clip. Michelle Obama, radiant, joyful, moving with the uninhibited ease of someone who is not performing anything but simply responding to music with her body in a room full of people who love her. Davis posted with a caption that does the structural work. This is about our humanity, our fundamental beliefs, but the video itself is the argument, not the counter-argument. The argument, the evidence that exists on the other side of the 8 post, placed beside it in the public record, requiring no editorial assistance from anyone, because a comparison between the two images does the work that no statement could do as efficiently. The caption's final line, the 5 words, is not composed. It arrives. Davis writes later that she had been writing the caption for 40 minutes and had produced 3 drafts and discarded all of them because they were all too long, too careful, too interested in explaining something that does not require explanation to anyone who has seen both images. The 5th draft is 22 words. The final line is 5. She posted before she can revise it again because the revision instinct is the instinct that has been managing her frequency for 9 years, and she has decided that this specific deposit in the ledger does not deserve managed frequency. It deserves a frequency she has been building toward since the backstage corridor in 2017. The 5 words, love is the answer, not a slogan, not a platitude, not the generic closing line of a celebrity statement that has to wrap somewhere. In the context of the 8 post, the specific documented presidential 8 post, the 5 words are a precision instrument. They do not describe what love is. They describe what the 8 post is not. Every word in the 5 carries the weight of everything the post lacks. Love is what you apply to people you recognize as people. Love is the frequency of someone who sees another human being as human. Love is the answer to the question, what does it say about us, that Davis asked in 2017, and that the 8 post is answered in full from the other direction. The post receives 4 million views in the first hour, not because of the 5 words, because of the Michelle Obama dancing clip placed beside the 8 post, doing the work of comparison that no statement could do. The 5 words arrive after comparison has already landed. They are not the argument. They are the frequency at which the argument transmits. The specific register of a woman who decided 9 years ago that the question was bigger than any single person and has spent 9 years watching the evidence confirm that the question was exactly the right size. The February 2026 interview follows 2 weeks later. Davis is on a panel about representation in Hollywood. Not a political panel, not a Trump-focused forum, but the kind of industry conversation that in 2026 cannot avoid the political context, because the political context has inserted itself into every institutional question about who gets to tell which stories in which rooms. The host asks about the post, about the 5 words, about why 5 words rather than the full statement that the moment seemed to require. Davis takes a long breath. Because I've been saying the full statement for 9 years, she says, and at some point you realize that the people who need the full statement don't read it. The people who need the full statement have already decided that the people in that video are not people. And the only thing that speaks to someone who has decided that another human being is not human is not a counter-argument, not evidence, not history, just love is the answer. Because love is the frequency on which human beings recognize each other. And if you're not transmitting on that frequency, I'm not going to argue with you about the data. I'm going to show you the dancing. The audience, 200 industry professionals, directors, writers, casting agents, the people who decide every day which stories get told and which don't, erupts, not for the argument, for the precision of the argument's form. 5 words in a dancing video, placed beside a presidential 8 post, doing more structural work than any op-ed or press conference or late-night monologue could do, because the form is the argument, the comparison is the argument, the frequency is the argument, Trump does not respond to Davis specifically in the period after the post. The White House describes the 8 video as an accidental staff posting and takes it down. The description does not address the fact that the video was made and uploaded by someone with White House social media access. It does not address the frequency. It does not address the 5 words. It addresses the accident of the posting mechanism. The dancing video is still up. The 8 post is down but screenshotted, documented, in the archive of every outlet that covers brief existence. The 5 words are still in the caption. And the question that Davis asked in the backstage corridor in January 2017, what does it say about us, has received the answer that 9 years of evidence deposits into a ledger until the ledger is full. It says that we still have to decide which frequency we're transmitting on. The 8 post is one answer. The dancing is another. The 5 words are the instrument that measures the distance between them. Love is the answer, not a closing sentiment, a diagnostic. If this changed how you see power, hit subscribe. If it didn't, watch it again. The details you missed the first time are the ones that matter most. Notifications on. Next one drops soon.